So, carrying on the trend from last episode, we are looking at another J horror film. This episode is going to be on Tokyo Psycho. This is a 2004 horror directed by Ataru Oikawa. Again, please excuse my pronunciation of Japanese names. Now, he is probably most famous for doing the series of films based on Junji Ito's Tomei. Surprisingly, I've never seen those though, so I can't speak for the quality of them, but I have seen a lot of Junji Ito based stuff, so I'm surprised I haven't ever actually watched those. I'm going to have to give those a look. The cast of this, no one really stood out to me as having been in anything that's worth mentioning, I guess. A lot of stuff that's been sort of stuck in Japan, nothing that's come over here. Really, nothing that stood out to me anyway. A guy called Masashi Taniguchi is in this, and he's been in a bunch of Kamen Rider things, but I've never seen any of the Kamen Rider films. I know that Shin Kamen Rider's meant to be pretty good, but I've never seen it, so I can't really comment, but yeah, he's in it anyway. So yeah, another J horror that I've never heard of before. Again, is that a good sign or not? It was good last episode. Cursed was really good. So I'm hopeful that this is going to carry on that trend. So yeah, and we know now as well that I am a bit of a sucker for J horror. So let's see if this one wins me over as well, shall we? The plot follows Yumiko, who's been getting very strange letters sent through her post, saying that she's destined to marry them. Thinking back, she realises that a weird kid who went to school with her but wasn't there for very long was sending her very similar letters, so maybe that kid has come back into her life somehow, and he might just be more dangerous and closer than she realises. This film has a few ideas, but then it just pads the shit out of it for the entire runtime. It's such a shame as well. It's only 79 minutes long, this film, and it somehow manages to be very boring and a complete slog to get through. That shouldn't be the case for such a short film, but yet here we are.
Huh? 仮面か。おい、取ってやろうか?
So I mentioned in the Cursed review that it's kind of difficult to talk about acting in foreign language films because of the language barrier. A lot of nuance and stuff like that to how things are being said. A good example that I thought of for this is me and my partner really like the Spanish film Tesis, or Thesis is the translation. And yeah, we watched it a few times, we really like it. And then I got talking to a Spanish mate of mine, and he said, oh yeah, no, the acting in that film is awful and everybody in Spain takes the piss out of it. But I had no idea, as someone who doesn't speak Spanish and doesn't understand the nuance of the Spanish language. So it's things like that that are interesting. This film though, you can tell it's bad acting because it just is really bad acting. The main offender being the killer in this. He is overacting to such a degree that it's kind of painful to watch. The fakest laugh that I've seen, and it's like one of those big loud psycho laughs, super annoying. And then also he screams a lot and clips the mic. Like, there's hamming it up and having fun, but then there's going too far and just being super annoying, and unfortunately he falls into that category. The rest of the cast are just sort of bland and sort of stilted in their acting, and yeah, it's hard to root for anybody really. It's hard to really get behind anyone. Gore, we do get some in this, not a lot, probably about 4 minutes of gore, all in all. There's a piano wire in the eye, and there's someone wearing somebody else's face. That's about as much as you're going to get, really, and it's not the best. It's not the best. It's not the worst effects we've seen, but it's not the best either. There is a really disgusting scene as well where the killer has worms in his mouth. That was a standout. But again, it's not on for very long, and it comes quite late on in the film, so it doesn't really have much of an effect, unfortunately. And then outside of that, we're just hanging around talking in like the same apartment building for far too long. And then the climax of the film goes on for ages as well, taking place in like a wheat field and then a pond. I don't know, it just seems super lazy and super cheap in a lot of areas, unfortunately. I always associate J-horror with supernatural elements. I think pretty much all of them that I've seen have got some element of supernatural horror to them, ghosts or something. And I feel like this film would have benefited from that, honestly. As it stands, this is just a generic sort of slasher film. It's just a stalk and slash, I guess. But what it does is it leads to the killer not being present for a lot of it. With a supernatural film, the ghost can just sort of appear at any point, and that's the joy of a supernatural horror. That's sort of the scary element, is that this ghost can just appear at any point. It could be right behind you and you had no idea. The killer, when you're in your apartment, is he gonna walk in through the door? I don't know, it's like there's not much suspense or tension in that regard. And I'm not an advocate for jump scares. I think they can be effective, but for the most part they're cheap. But I feel like we needed something to punctuate the boring monotony of the whole thing. Outside of this, it's kind of just standard in how it's made. Nothing really stood out as being interesting or engaging. The music, I can't remember. The editing and the way it's shot, standard. I have a feeling that I am not going to remember this film in a few weeks' time, to be honest. Okay, let's get the gometer out and see how hardcore this film is. Right, so number one, does it have any branding on the outside of the disc? Yes, it does. It has the website printed on the back again. Number two, does it have any branding on the inside? It actually doesn't this time. We do get a catalogue, but it doesn't have the hardcore branding. We'll talk more about the catalogue in the case section, but I'm not classing it because it doesn't have the hardcore branding stuff on it. Number three, any branding on the disc, physically or digitally? Physically, yes, we get the website printed on the disc. Digitally, no, we don't actually. We do get trailers, but the branding on the menu for the trailers isn't hardcore branding, so not counting it. Still gets a point though, so 2 points. Number four, is it hard? Is it gore? Yes, it is hard to sit through. It's kind of badly paced, and yes, it is gory. It feels like a Millennium Trash film in a way. It feels like something like The Attendant or Bagman or something like that, you know, where it's got a few scenes of gore, but then the rest of it is just really slowly paced, and it's short, so it's both boring and short, and then a little bit gory. Yeah, if this were a full hardcore film in phase one, it wouldn't feel out of place, to be completely honest. So yeah, gets a point for that. Lastly, is there any other evidence suggesting that it might have been initially a hardcore film? No, there isn't. So overall, we have a 3, which is maybe hardcore. And yeah, I could see that. It wouldn't be out of place, as I said, with the rest of them in tier 1. It's close. It feels like it's close to a hardcore film. And there's some branding on there, but not a lot. So straight down the middle seems about right. What do you guys reckon? Do you feel like it does sort of fit in with the rest, or do you feel like it's a bit of an outlier? Let me know.
あっちでももの豚なのに散々突っ込まれてさ
Okay, let's have a look at this print then, shall we? So, once again, this is one of those that was shot in 16:9, then converted down to 4:3, so it looks tiny in the screen, and it's just annoying when that happens, isn't it? I'm not a fan of it when it does it. Outside of that, it's kind of low quality. It seems fine for the most part, though. There was nothing that was major that stood out to me. It's watchable, I'd say. It's just a shame with that aspect ratio issue. Again, subtitles. I did this in the last episode. This is probably a good point to talk about the English subtitles. They're kind of the same as Cursed in a way, but they're a bit different as well. You still get the odd typo, the odd weird phrasing for things. The major issue with this one is that some of the subtitles are far too quick. Like, it'll just blast up a load of text and then take it away, and you're like, oh well, I didn't really get a chance to fully absorb all that. It happens once or twice, and it's a little bit annoying. But again, they're readable, they're visible, so they're not the worst. They're fine, I guess. And on the disc, we get the usual stuff. We get chapter select, trailer for this film, and other trailers. We get 2 sound versions of the film, though. We get a 5.1 mix and a stereo mix, and I think that might be the first time we've had that in this entire Hard Gore thing that we're doing. So weird. And a bit overkill, honestly, because it's not that good a film. And we also get some bonus features on here as well. We get a 6-minute behind the scenes featurette and a 5-minute interview with the cast and crew. And yeah, I mean, that's fine. It looks like they had fun doing it, and the way that they talk about it, it all seems like they really believe in the project, which is kind of sweet. Yeah, why is it always the films, though, that I'm not that fussed about, that have all the bonus features for it? It's so annoying. I'd have killed for some bonus features on Cursed or something, but here we go on Tokyo Psycho, the one I don't care about. But oh well, at least we get something. Okay then, time for the case. I don't mind the cover, to be honest. It's not the best, but it works. It has a striking image on it, so it's not too bad. The blurb is a little weird. Right here we're missing a "the," which just, yeah, reads clunky without it. And this bit, abusing children. Now in the context of the film, it's not children, it's just one child. So again, it just seems strange. And then the rest of it just reads a little off. It just feels a little rushed through, I guess. It's not a great write-up. The runtime's out by 2 minutes, so not the worst. The information outside of all these seem correct. It claims this is based on a true story. Now, I've had a look into this and can see no evidence of this at all. So do take that with a pinch of salt. Lastly, this has a catalogue on the inside, and I don't think we've actually seen one like this before. So it doesn't have the Hard Gore branding, instead it's just a generic white background. It also doesn't split the films up into categories, it's just here's a bunch of films in any sort of order. And in some cases, it removes the Hard Gore branding from some of the Hard Gore releases. It's kind of weird, and we're going to see a few more of these as we go along. So yeah, there you go. Overall then, this is a J-horror that didn't quite win me over, unfortunately. Outside of a little bit of interesting gore, we've just got a boring, dry film with an annoying villain that just doesn't do much with its short runtime. It's a shame, really. I don't really know what you could have done to make it more interesting, but I don't know, it just doesn't really do much for me. There's a fascination element to me, because I've seen a lot of J-horror in the past, and this might be one of the, if not the worst that I've ever sat through. Off the top of my head anyway, I know Tartan put out a lot of bad ones, but this one was painful to sit through. And there wasn't even a ghost to just be like, oh look, at least there's something cool happening there. Yeah, I can't recommend this. I wouldn't recommend it. If you are in the market, this version's fine. It's fine. There are a couple of the DVDs floating around, but none of them really stood out as any different, I guess. They're probably exactly the same. So yeah, bit of a shame, bit of a disappointment this episode, unfortunately. Next episode, we're moving away from Japan for a while. We're heading back into the disgusting, disturbing world of Mondo film. That's right, we've already covered 3 films in this franchise, and they've gotten worse and worse as they've gone on. A film that I've kind of been interested in watching just to finish it off, but also one that I've kind of been dreading. We're going to be checking out Faces of Death 4.